What if I told you that nobody cares about your excuses, your pain, your potential, or your dreams as much as you do? Let that sink in. It might sting, but it's one of the most liberating truths you'll ever face. Nobody cares. So focus on yourself, not because the world is cruel, because the world is indifferent. People aren't against you. They're just too busy with their own chaos to even notice yours. Everyone's drowning in distraction, trying to survive, scrolling endlessly for meaning, chasing dopamine instead of discipline. If you're waiting for someone to understand you, validate you, fix you, or fuel you, you're handing over your power. You're burning time you'll never get back. The Stoics understood this truth centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that strength? It's what separates those who bend under pressure from those who rise through it. Most people are desperate to be seen, but the ones who make real impact are the ones who focus inward. Not for ego, for evolution. They stop seeking applause and start cultivating purpose. They stop broadcasting their pain and start mastering it. This is where your journey begins, not in the opinions of others, but in the stillness of your own mind. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop begging the world for approval, how to silence the noise and hear your inner voice, how to control your emotions instead of being controlled by them, how to become so grounded, so self-aware, and so locked into your purpose that peace, power, and respect flow to you without you chasing anything. This is the path of true Stoic strength, not loud, but undeniable. So if you're tired of waiting to be saved and ready to become something unshakable, like, comment, and subscribe. This isn't just a message, it's a mirror. Let's begin. Number 1. Focus is your superpower. Energy flows where attention goes. In today's world, attention is currency, and most people are broke. They scroll, they swipe, they obsess over what others are doing, saying, wearing, achieving. And in the process, they abandon themselves. They forget their path, their purpose, their power, because their focus is scattered across 1,000 meaningless distractions. But the Stoics knew better. They knew that peace and power come from direction, from turning your gaze inward. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." In other words, focus on your lane. Stay rooted in your own actions, because every time you worry about how you're perceived, every time you compare yourself to someone online, every time you chase approval instead of improvement, you leak power, you leak energy, and over time, you become exhausted, not because you did too much, but because you focused on all the wrong things. Focus is your greatest resource. It's your anchor. It's what turns chaos into clarity and potential into progress. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, that's where your life grows. You have to start asking yourself, am I focused on becoming better? Or am I just looking busy? Am I investing my time? Or am I burning it on validation, gossip, and distractions that don't feed my future? Cut the noise. Silence the world when necessary. Your phone doesn't need to own you. The algorithm doesn't deserve your attention more than your own goals do. You don't owe the world your reaction. You owe yourself your discipline. Discipline is the gateway to freedom. The more you train your focus, the sharper you become. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. The people who rise are the ones who can block out the world and go deep into their craft, their mission, their soul. You want peace? Guard your focus. You want power? Sharpen your focus. You want to transform? Redirect your focus. Because when you stop scattering your energy and start owning it, when you stop watching and start working, everything changes. You become unstoppable, not by doing more, but by doing what matters without distraction. Focus is the modern superpower. Use it like a weapon. Number 2, radical ownership. Nobody is coming to save you. Waiting for someone else to fix your life is the most dangerous lie you can live. It's slow self-destruction, dressed up as hope. It feels safe to believe someone will notice your struggle and pull you out. But they won't. Because everyone else is just trying to stay afloat themselves. Epictetus said it best. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well. In other words, stop arguing with reality. Stop hoping someone shows up with the answers. The world owes you nothing. No success, no support, no sympathy. But this isn't a curse. This is your greatest gift. If no one owes you anything, then everything you create is yours. Earned, built, owned. That's real freedom. You're not a victim. You're not broken. You're powerful, but only if you accept the weight of that power. Radical ownership means you stop blaming the economy, your past, your parents, or your circumstances. You stop waiting to be chosen, and you choose yourself. You stop seeking external permission and start acting with internal conviction. Most people wait their whole lives for the right time, the right mood, the right person to believe in them. But that's a fantasy. Nobody's coming. And once you let go of that illusion, you rise. You stop outsourcing your happiness, your discipline, your self-worth, and start building it, brick by brick, from the inside out. Own your habits. Own your healing. Own your hunger. Every decision, every day, every thought belongs to you. You don't need someone to unlock your potential. You are the key. You don't need a lifeline. You are the rescue team. Your life is your responsibility, and that is the most empowering truth you will ever face. Number 3, emotional mastery. Learn to control your inner world. The world outside is loud, it's chaotic, it's unpredictable. People will disrespect you. Plans will fall apart. Life will test your patience, your pride, your peace. But none of that is within your control. What is within your control is how you respond, how you show up, how you carry yourself when things get hard. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. You don't suffer because of what happens. You suffer because of what you believe it means, and you can change that. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't serve those feelings. You don't let anger dictate your words. You don't let fear dictate your path. You don't let insecurity drive your actions. You lead yourself with clarity, with calm, with discipline. That's not weakness. That's power. Anyone can scream, lash out, complain, panic. That's easy. That's automatic. But to pause, breathe, reflect, and choose your next move with intention. That's mastery. That's Stoicism in motion. Real emotional control is built in silence. In the moments no one sees, when you walk away from drama, when you choose grace over retaliation, when you pick purpose over pity. You aren't stuffing your feelings down. You're standing above them. You're letting them come and go like passing weather, without letting them own your sky. And here's what most people don't realize. Mastering your emotions doesn't just protect your peace. It builds your power. When you stay centered in chaos, people feel it. They respect it. But more importantly, you respect it. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to rely on your own strength. That inner stability becomes your edge in a shaky world. You don't need to control the storm. You just need to control yourself in it. Train your mind to stay calm. Train your heart to stay steady. And watch your whole life transform. Because the world doesn't need another person reacting. It needs someone who responds. Someone who leads. Someone who masters their inner world. Be that person. Number 4, accept the reality. Nobody is watching as closely as you think. Most people are trapped in a prison, built from their own imagination, living like actors on a stage, performing for approval, for applause, for attention that never truly comes. But the hard truth is this: people aren't watching you. They're watching themselves. They're consumed by their own worries, insecurities, regrets, and desires. You think they're focused on your flaws. They're too busy hiding their own. You think they remember that one awkward thing you said or did? They don't. They're replaying their own mistakes, not yours. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And he was right. You imagine their judgment, but it's a ghost, a shadow with no form. And yet, that ghost rules your decisions, dictates your behavior, and chains your potential. Break that chain. Let it go. You are not here to be seen. You're here to grow. You are not here to impress. You're here to improve. Marcus Aurelius warned us, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Why do you give your power away like that? Why do you let the invisible opinions of people you don't even know decide the direction of your life? That's weakness. That's a distraction. Real strength begins the moment you stop performing for the world and start living for your own evolution. No more living for likes. No more shrinking in fear of imaginary judgment. You are not on stage. You are in training. This is your gym. This is your forge. Every failure is fuel. Every scar is proof. And every moment you spend worrying about being watched is a moment stolen from your transformation. Let them overlook you. Let them scroll past. Let them talk. Because while they're distracted by illusion, you're becoming something real. You're becoming focused, disciplined, unstoppable. The crowd you're trying to impress is made of people just as lost, just as insecure, just as distracted as you once were. But you're not them anymore. You're waking up. You're stepping into a higher state of being. And it all begins when you accept this truth. Nobody is watching as closely as you think. And that's not a problem. That's your power. Number 5, self-worth doesn't come from approval. The moment you tie your self-worth to other people's opinions, you become their puppet. You live and die by their reactions, chasing likes, applause, compliments, thinking that one more yes from the crowd will finally make you enough. But the crowd is fickle. One day they cheer. The next, they vanish. What then? If your sense of value comes from being liked, you will be broken the second you're ignored. Because applause is temporary, but self-respect must be permanent. Seneca said it best. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. If you crave constant validation, you will never feel whole. Because the hunger for approval can never be satisfied. It only grows. And with it, your dependence grows. Your anxiety grows. Your emptiness grows. You don't need to be praised. You need to be grounded. Grounded in your principles. Grounded in your purpose. Grounded in who you are when no one is clapping. True confidence doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being consistent. When your actions align with your values, you build a reputation with the only person who matters: yourself. That's where real self-worth lives, not in other people's eyes, but in your own reflection. When you look in the mirror and know you didn't betray yourself, that's strength. That's peace. You don't need to be understood by everyone. You need to understand yourself. Your path is not up for public opinion. It's yours to walk, to build, to live. And the more you chase their approval, the further you drift from your mission. You must reclaim your validation. Internalize it. Let your discipline be your proof. Let your principles be your compass. Let your peace be the applause. Because when you respect yourself, genuinely, fiercely, the world begins to reflect that. People treat you the way you treat yourself. If you walk with self-respect, they'll feel it. If you hold your standards, they'll rise to meet them. But it starts with you. Approval fades, attention shifts, but integrity, that stays, and it echoes. Walk in alignment, move in truth, and remember this: the strongest man in the room is not the loudest. He's the one who doesn't need the room at all. Number 6, build in silence. Let results speak. Real power doesn't need to announce itself. It moves in silence. It grows in the dark. It evolves behind closed doors, while the world is busy talking, judging, performing. In this age of constant noise, it's easy to believe that being seen equals being successful. But that's an illusion. The loudest person in the room is often the one who's most insecure. Truly powerful people don't seek validation. They seek mastery. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is the essence of silent strength. Don't tell the world what you're going to do. Don't argue for your potential. Just do it. Let your consistency speak. Let your results echo. The grind isn't glamorous. The path of self-discipline is often invisible. It's built in early mornings, lonely nights, and 100 small choices nobody will ever applaud. But that's the point. The most powerful growth is internal. It's not about showing off. It's about leveling up. You see, noise is cheap. Results are rare. Everyone wants to be seen, but few are willing to be patient, to stay low, to sharpen their mind, to hone their craft. But those who are, they become undeniable. Because when the results come, they can't be ignored. Stop broadcasting your plans. Stop looking for credit before the job is done. Every time you talk about what you're going to do, you steal energy from the doing. Protect your vision with silence. Feed your goals with action. Let your results speak volumes, without a single word. You don't need applause while you're building. You need solitude. You need focus. You need obsession. The rewards will come, but they only come to those who outlast the noise. And here's the truth. You don't need attention. You need evolution. You don't need approval. You need alignment. You don't need to be loud. You need to be undeniable. So, build in silence, move in purpose, and let the final product speak so clearly. You never have to. Number 7, protect your peace like a warrior. In a world screaming for your attention, peace is not handed to you. It's earned. It's protected. It's fought for. The Stoics didn't chase chaos. They trained their minds to be calm amidst it, because they understood something most people miss. Peace isn't weakness. Peace is strength under control. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." He understood that your peace is shaped by your surroundings. If you allow noise, negativity, and shallow minds into your space, don't be surprised when your spirit feels scattered. You must become a warrior for your own mind. Guard it with discipline. Just like a soldier defends his post, you must defend your mental space. That means cutting off unnecessary drama. That means refusing to argue with fools who only want to provoke, not understand. That means walking away from chaos, not because you're afraid, but because you value your clarity. There is nothing noble about constant conflict. You don't need to prove yourself to people who don't even know themselves. Every minute spent trying to win someone else's approval is a minute stolen from your own evolution. Stop letting the noise of the world distract you from the signal within. Clarity is found in stillness. Strength is built in silence. And wisdom comes from observation, not reaction. When you stop responding to every slight, every comment, every distraction, you gain power. You begin to move with purpose, not impulse. Protect your mornings. Protect your thoughts. Protect your environment like it's sacred, because it is. Your energy is your currency. Spend it wisely. Peace doesn't mean avoiding challenges. It means confronting them with grace, with a centered mind, with unwavering discipline. It means building a life where your soul isn't in a constant state of survival. So, become ruthless about your inner peace. Not cold, but clear. Not distant, but deliberate. Be the calm in the storm, not because the storm disappears, but because you've mastered how to navigate it. Your peace is the foundation of your power. Without it, you're reactive. With it, you're unstoppable. Number 8. You don't need permission to evolve. Stop waiting for applause. Stop waiting for validation. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to rise. You don't need permission to evolve. That green light you're hoping for, it's not coming. The world doesn't owe you recognition for your growth. Most people won't notice until it benefits them. And by then, it'll be too late. The truth is, evolution makes people uncomfortable. When you start changing, growing, leveling up, it reflects their own stagnation. And instead of being inspired, many will feel threatened. They'll question you, doubt you, try to pull you back into the box they're comfortable keeping you in. But you weren't built for their box. You were built for expansion. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That resistance you feel, that discomfort, that's the path, that's the test, and that's the signal. It's time to move forward. You don't need approval to start over. You don't need agreement to aim higher. What you need is commitment. You need discipline. You need fire in your soul that burns louder than the voices around you. Reinvent yourself in silence. Build in the shadows. Let them think you've disappeared, while you're transforming into someone they'll never recognize. This is your life. You don't owe loyalty to the outdated version of yourself. You don't have to keep playing a role that no longer fits. Growth requires shedding skin, breaking cycles, and walking alone when necessary. The people who matter will grow with you. The ones who don't, let them stay where they are. You weren't meant to shrink to make others feel secure. So rise, quietly, relentlessly, without explanation, without compromise. You owe it to your future, not your past, not your fear, not your critics, not even your former self. Growth is not betrayal. It's survival. It's truth. It's power. You don't need permission. You just need to begin. Number 9. Become so solid, the world adjusts to you. In a world that constantly pulls, demands, and distracts, you must become immovable, not rigid, not hardened, but rooted, deeply grounded in who you are and what you stand for. The goal isn't to dominate others. It's to dominate your inner world so completely that the outside world cannot disturb, your core. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." That source? It's within you, not in opinions, not in trends, not in applause, but in your character, your discipline, your presence. When you stop chasing attention and start cultivating integrity, everything shifts. You no longer bend to every wave of criticism. You no longer shapeshift to be accepted. You no longer explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You just are. And that stillness, that certainty, that is power. When you walk into a room and don't need to prove a thing, that's when the world adjusts to you. People feel your energy. They sense your boundaries. They respect your presence, even if they don't fully understand it. This is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. When your actions, your values, and your words all speak the same language, you radiate authority. You no longer need to raise your voice. Your life does the speaking. But this only happens when you do the inner work, when you take ownership, build emotional discipline, protect your peace, and focus like a warrior. When you stop living for likes and start living in truth. That's how you become unshakable, not by controlling the world, but by mastering yourself. So, stop performing, stop explaining, stop waiting, start becoming, start grounding, start building a foundation so strong that even when the storms come, and they will, you remain steady. Because once you become that solid, the world doesn't break you. It learns to adjust to you. Nobody's watching you like you think they are. And that's not a curse. It's freedom. Freedom from the need to perform. Freedom from the weight of outside approval. Freedom to finally become who you were meant to be. The world isn't going to hand you permission. It's not going to clap for your transformation, and it doesn't need to, because the only validation that matters is the one you give yourself. You are the answer you've been waiting for, the savior, the builder, the warrior. So stop waiting, start evolving, start walking the path of discipline, power, and peace. Because when you stop seeking and start becoming, the world doesn't ignore you. It aligns with you. If this message hit home, don't just feel it, move on it. Subscribe to this channel, join the movement, step into your strength, and above all, stay focused, stay grounded, stay powerful. This is your time. Let's rise.